Yeah. Iron Sheik. Midnight, what up? What up? Total Darkness. Artist Union. Time's up. They're leading youth astray, calling them dogs, calling her catty and chick when she created the gods. Rapping Masons used to wear ankhs and leather medallions, running and gunning in the Wild West, minus the stallions. No spurs on cowboy boots, but big fitted hats with tight jeans and retro shades just to dance and rap. Minstrel blackface show, that's BET, making you applaud the negativity that you see. Boogeyman in the closets, taunt and haunt you. Elder Moore say don't get brainwashed by the one-eyed monster. Staying close, stay online with eyeballs burning, fighting sleep like a miner, but you're still not learning. Uploading to YouTube in robes and turbans, pushing misconcepts like subconscious versions. She didn't plant that seed, that was your ego, trying to exploit from your couch your own people. Go rent a community room, bring Black Dot down, or Kabahaya Watha Kameen to humble you clowns. Bring Sister Zakina or Bobby Hemmett, coons living in the debt but holding on to credit. On this mental walk, watch your step. In these depths, you see the higher self fighting the flesh. Split personalities caught in thought mesh. Hit a mental block, I told you, watch your step. On this mental walk, watch your step. In these depths, you see the higher self fighting the flesh. Split personalities caught in thought mesh. Hit a mental block, I told you, watch your step. Rapper think you're hot, I'm here to out your flame. Too much dressing like twins and doing the same. Chris Brown got probation, paparazzi chasing. She's no worse hiding bruises by makeup facing. Her contract extended, you're not paying attention. You did nothing but run like Reverend. Still get a knee in your back, enough back chat. Tased or lay flat from the baton clap. That's not racist, just the Christian black code. The cross used to wear a crown that belonged to Rome. Now you wear it, but the same Romans killed your Messiah. From Yahshua to Sharif Abdul Ali, don't call me a liar. From Nkrumah to Lumumba and Marcus Garvey. The Romans even killed Michael Jackson and Bob Marley. Ask a rapper to solve your problems, he'll help hardly. But he's on cribs with 2 Benzes and a souped up Audi. On this mental walk, watch your step. In these depths, you see the higher self fighting the flesh. Split personalities caught in thought mesh. Hit a mental block, I told you, watch your step. On this mental walk, watch your step. In these depths, you see the higher self fighting the flesh. Split personalities caught in thought mesh. Hit a mental block, I told you, watch your step. Shoe boxes to the ceiling, supporting this demon. No shoes, but lots of fiat, crooked cops are stealing. What you should have gave to the poor to pay some dues. And some bills from community moms with ill life blues. Got rookie cops and sergeants touring the world. And you locked up, looks bad on your baby girl. And your baby boys think it's a game with guns for toys. Fake fathers turn their backs on their bundles of joy. At risk, marginalized and troublesome. For moms while pregnant, sipping on a double rum, acting like a witch on a broom, bringing sons not from the womb but the tomb to the tomb. Being so ignorant is why we're born in sin. We'll learn from our lessons, let the teachings now begin. Open your mind, watch your step. In these depths you see the higher self conquer the flesh. Split personalities become casualties, caught in thought mesh. I told you to watch your step. Split personalities become casualties, caught in thought mesh. Told you watch your step. On this mental walk, watch your step. In these depths, you see the higher self fighting the flesh. Split personalities caught in thought mesh. Hit a mental block, I told you, watch your step. On this mental walk, watch your step. In these depths, you see the higher self fighting the flesh. Split personalities caught in thought mesh. Hit a mental block, I told you, watch your step. On this mental walk, watch your step. In these depths, you see the higher self fighting the flesh. Split personalities caught in thought mesh. Hit a mental block, I told you, watch your step. On this mental walk, watch your step. In these depths, you see the higher self fighting the flesh. Split personalities caught in thought mesh. Hit a mental block, I told you, watch your step. In the name of Allah and Ali, Islam to all. Join the MST, You should hear about birthrights and nationality, for you are not Negroes or what you claim to be. In the name of Allah and Ali, Islam to all, join the MST. You should hear about birthrights and nationality, for you are not Negroes or what you claim to be. Learn your foreparents' ancient divine creed. Since 1913 I've been planting the seeds. Enemies planted agents, I had to leave. I know it was abrupt, but bear with me please. Among the many teaching, man have two selves. These are lower and higher. You want the one that justice breeds. Uplifting the Moors. Be yourself is what you need. Ancient forefathers didn't salat on their knees. Not even under his own vine and fig trees. Fell to slavery for abandoning divine creeds. Denationalized since 1774. Now you hurt others with hands, tongues, and thoughts. Confused at the roads when you see them cross. The object of Moors' life is to unfold, of course. Islam doesn't teach we were born in sin. If unlimited capacities can be found within, humanity has been left at the mercy of those who in them have no mercy. If only Allah got the Moorish movement, the faith in your prophet, please don't lose it. In the name of Allah and Ali, Islam to all, join the MST. You should hear about birthrights and nationality, for you are not Negroes or what you claim to be. In the name of Allah and Ali, Islam to all, join the MST. You should hear about birthrights and nationality, for you are not Negroes or what you claim to be. Coming as he did with a national message. Many disrespect and don't get the lessons. Following the speakers, not the words spoken. Connect to the higher powers or wires broken. This is our prophet and there's none left. False prophets point followers to the joys of death. Circle 7 says Jesus but means Ben Yosef. Where you find Allah, we know the heart is closest. To find a real prophet in these days is rare. Most propagate a faith to have the people in fear. Together we stand, divided we fall. Prophet said study the Constitution, cause law is all. Divine and national principle specific. His call to all loyal and faithful Moors is specific. Most made our prophet suffer severely in the past, waving banners with the claims of a national flag. In the name of Allah and Ali, Islam to all, join the MST. You should hear about birthrights and nationality, for you are not Negroes or what you claim to be. In the name of Allah and Ali, Islam to all, join the MST. You should hear about birthrights and nationality, for you are not Negroes or what you claim to be. If you have race pride and love your race, join the MST and you must make haste. If Europeans help, then why not you? I'm your prophet. Who you think I came here to? Redeem from the slavery state that's mental. Get off your 4 legs and out the kennel. This field is open to strong men and women, willing and seeking the kingdom of heaven. Lack of sincerity is in the churches. Lack of truth makes all religions worthless. I took a red pill and blue pill to know the ledge. Tree of life ciphers dance in my head like sugar plums. If you're sick, lime and a shot of rum. New wine and old skins will have you wasting some. Tried for many years, they still blind and dumb. Standing on the corner pushing crack and crime and guns. Hanging at high noon, a star called sun, bleaching the sellouts' bones dry, and they asking why. Schemers walk and traders grit all the time. On the high road, I watch them fall for the last time. In the name of Allah and Ali, Islam to all, join the MST. You should hear about birthrights and nationality, for you are not Negroes or what you claim to be. In the name of Allah and Ali, Islam to all, join the MST. You should hear about birthrights and nationality, for you are not Negroes or what you claim to be.
You remember the last meeting? I was speaking about religious freedom. I was speaking about how if America said mass vaccination of smallpox, how we could say we don't want to get it under religious freedom. Right after that, didn't the president announce mass smallpox and vaccination everything? So it's just showing you we got to stay in tune with the times. The prophet also said, quote, prophecy number 57, he says, quote, watch the newspapers and listen to the radio. I am going to make the European tell the truth. So we said in the last days, listen carefully. What you hear in the newspapers, what you see on the news. He said because he's going to make them tell the truth at that time. And if you listen carefully, you can distinguish the truth from what they're saying.
Happy Holy Day to all the Moors worldwide. You had to get a Holy Day one in. You had to get a Holy Day one in. especially after people want to try to talk crazy again about Noble Drew Ali and Moors. Honors to all the Moors worldwide.
I'm sure some of y'all answered the question, well, what does nationalizing mean? Nationalizing basically means join his organization. He has paperwork that he can sell you when you join his organization, which would basically opt you out of the system. If you nationalize, if you join his organization and he gives you all the paperwork and documents that you need to fill out and sign, you can send that information to the federal government, and in his mind, he thinks the federal government is going to see this paperwork and say, oh, okay, so I guess we can't collect taxes from this person anymore because now they're part of Taj Tariq's group. Or, when they're driving and we pull them over and we ask them for their driver license, all they have to do is let us know that they're with Taj Tariq Bey. They're with Taj Tariq Bey. They don't need a driver license. They don't have to pay for registration of their car. They don't have to pay sales tax. They don't have to pay none of that stuff because they are with Taj Tariq Bey. So, come.
Nationalize. Transfer a major branch of industry or commerce from private to state ownership or control. Make distinctively national. Give a national character to. So we nationalize and say that we're Moors. We are being made distinctively national and given a national character too, because Drew Ali told the Moors in the divine warning to the nations that money doesn't make the man. It is free national standards and power that make a man. What does that have to do with Taj Tariq Bey? That have something to do with Taj Tariq Bey? Oh, you saw some guys over here posting a picture with Taj Tariq Bey holding their travel document, so you're gonna go chase them because Taj Tariq Bey was holding their travel document? Or because Taj Tariq Bey is over here on this platform where they have all these type of niggers coming on there because it's a church, and then a few times a month they're gonna have him on there, and then he's saying the same stuff to these people he's been telling Moors since 20 years ago. The same stuff, because people don't study. They get what the platform provides as information. Where if you go study, you're going to find more information out that any platform, including us, could tell you. Because you're taking the approach of nationalize being you being yourself. You not being a ward of anybody else. So he said nationalize means to be part of Taj Tariq Bey's group. He's not being funny. He's a liar. If he's a liar, why y'all listening to accountants tell you about Moors and Taj? Why? Oh, because you people are the traitor lovers. You people are the traitor lovers. The nigger sellouts who are making a mockery on their own birthright that our people listen to. He's just an example. He's low on the totem pole. We're not even talking about him. We're talking about anybody who talks crazy about Moors. Anyone who talks crazy about Moors know that they're a traitor and a sellout to the Moroccan Empire. Especially if they look like a Moor, oh, they're definitely a traitor. And they should ride the mare of steel. You don't care if you believe in Allah or not. You're riding. You go jump on it. We're not putting you on it. You go jump on it. You go slide. You go slide on the mare of steel. And we're going to show you, right? So this is the nigger guy they give you to tell you about Moors and IRS and taxes and, you know, the accountant guy. The accountant guy who is for the Inquisition revenue services. And as well, CRA, the Canada Revenue Agency, who they're a fraud, and we've been not paying taxes to them because we know that you're a fraud, just like IRS is a fraud. When we go pull out writs that we've been writing to them for the past 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Because we don't give them finance like that. You're not strong arming to get something. You send them a letter. Hey, Commissioner of Income guy. Where's the presentment signed by the person sending it? If the stuff's not signed, I don't know what you're talking about. Well, income, we're not talking about income right now. We're talking about taxes. Who are you? Because I'm Aboriginal to the land. I'm indigenous. You know, I mean, I've been here. I get this letter from some guys talking about give them some finance. Who are you? What do you mean just give you finance? Prove who you are. That's not a logical response, question. But we're not even going to go to what we would do as Moors when it comes to taxes and whatever. We're not even going to talk about what we would do. Let's talk to their IRS people. Forget accountant guy. You want to know about the IRS? Why don't you ask somebody who worked for the IRS? You want to know about Moors? You're going to ask black guys. Conscious black guys, woke guys, you're going to ask them about Moors. Why don't you go ask them more about Moors? Right? So just like we told all the UK traders and sellouts on their platform, F you. Same thing we're telling this guy and anybody else, accountant, whoever, that's going to make videos about Moors, making mockery or whatever, F you too. Because you people should be hung. Traitors. We can't do anything to you, so this is your hanging. This is your guillotine right now. This is the crowd square, and we're about to pummel you. We're about to pummel you. Right? And then don't get mad because it wasn't even us. Closing comments. Addressing the jury. Sherry Jackson, when they trumped up charges on her, and they got her under the jail right now. because she called them out on their fraud of what they are. You're not government. You're a private corporation raping people. CRA, IRS, and any other tax people who are foreign to a jurisdiction, but the people have to pay them something. That's fraud. You can't tell. You could tell people to pay, and if they want to pay, they can pay because tax is voluntary. It's not mandatory you pay tax. Who says mandatory? Where you see big red letters that you have to pay tax? It's voluntary. But they know that it's a finance game, because if you don't pay tax, then that means they don't get to go to Bermuda and go dance up with the Rasta man at the Calypso stuff. They don't get to do all that. They have to go get a summer job like everybody else out here. Because the indigenous people are waking up to the fact that, hey, hold on a second. If I'm indigenous and you're a foreigner, why do I have to follow your stuff? Like, we've been doing our own thing for 50 billion years. 50 billion, and first year, you're here, and then we have to pay taxes to you. And then we just pay. Oh, you're the guy that was, oh yeah, no problem. How much is it? So we're not even going to use us. Let's go to their people who they have under the jail right now. Let's resurrect the mother. Let's resurrect the mother for Holy Day. Since Venus and all that stuff, and you know, men are from Mars. So let's put the mother's words out there today and see what this frequency is gonna resonate at, and how far it's gonna go for how long. Closing comments addressing the jury, the American people. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sherry Peel Jackson. I became a certified public accountant in 1987. I was an internal revenue agent in Atlanta District for 7 years, and I became a certified fraud examiner in 2001. For all the Moors who are getting played and all that stuff, you can go get a fraud examiner certification. So instead of you coming to Cujo with your complaints about these traders out here, who we never told you go to them. I don't know how you end up being with where they're at, but whatever. You can go get certified to be a fraud examiner, examine these people for fraud, and then you can sue them as a fraud examiner. Or they might sue you like they're doing to her, or did to her. I am here to summarize the tales of ignorance and deception that you have heard over the last 2 days, and I'm here to inform you of the state of the nation so that you may choose your next course of action. So she already knows they're going to throw her under the bus right now. She already knows. They have her by the collar and by the back waist, and they're about to throw her under the bus. This is what you call honorable. Right? James Trafficant, European, same thing. Start talking to these people crazy. Like, what do you mean? I come from you guys. I know what you guys are doing. Oh yeah? Died. Tractor fell on him. Tractor fell on a man. Tractor fell on somebody? Yeah, well, he didn't know what he was doing, so he rolled it. What do you mean he rolled it? He's been living on a farm for all his life. Never, ever before that rolled over a tractor. All of a sudden he's talking crazy to people and he gets rolled over by a tractor. Alright. Sherry Peel Jackson worked for the IRS, realized these people are fraud, then start telling them about they're a fraud. Threw under the jail. So she is here to inform you of the state of the nation. We're just talking about Moors, black guys, Negroes, whoever. You are being informed right now of the state of the nation so that you may choose your next course of action. So don't think anything's on anybody and they're playing martyr and all that stuff. They already saved themselves and have knowledge. So they could die knowing. Put me under the jail. You're still a fraud. You have heard the truth of how the Internal Revenue Service, Department of Justice, Federal Reserve, and politicians have perpetuated this smoke and mirrors, dog and pony show to you, the American people, for over 88 years. You have heard American families devastated by the invasion of privacy and unbridled fear placed upon them through threats of liens, levies, and even jail time. In my tenure as an IRS agent, I personally saw marriages broken, families torn apart, homes confiscated, businesses destroyed, all while my colleagues and I were making unjust demands on the American people without the proper authority. Now you be the judge. You have seen that Commissioner Charles Rosati, Dan Bryant, and majority of our congressional delegation and other civil servants have refused to do their jobs. It would have been as simple as answering the questions of these well-educated researchers in a public forum, such as this one. But they have reneged, so you be the judge. You have learned that the Constitution of the United States of America has been trampled on and ignored through allowing the privately owned Federal Reserve to create paper currency and charge you $47 million in interest per hour. Money coming from the mouths of your children and the college education funds of your grandchildren. All the while the children and grandchildren of the owners of the Federal Reserve will never have to work a day in their lives. And that is wrong on so many different levels. And let me tell you that as a black woman, I am keenly aware of the history of slavery. But do you understand that we are all slaves to this system? Do you understand that the media and Hollywood play a part in keeping the American people so fixated on Ally McBeal, WWF SmackDown, Moesha, and the practice that we don't take time to read The Creature from Jekyll Island, study the Internal Revenue Code, and learn the Constitution? Now let me spend just a minute to address my culture. Do you realize that the so-called black leaders make millions of dollars every year playing that us and them role, keeping blacks focused on the race card away from the real issues, the theft of our future through taxation? These public mongers are well aware of the oppression brought on by income taxation. They love to march on Washington about racial profiling and civil rights. Not to say that these are not real problems, but these leaders have been too afraid to approach the powers that be and have a million-man, woman, boy, girl march about economic freedom for income taxation and restoration of constitutional rights. And they have the nerve to call Clarence Thomas an Uncle Tom. Also, there's been a lot of talk about reparations lately. But know this, if all Americans were able to keep the money withheld from their paychecks every year, that money would enable them to homeschool, start their own businesses, boost the economy, save for college and retirement, buy 40 acres and a mule. So you be the judge. We'll read that one again for all the people that it doesn't matter if they're paying taxes. The Morris say that they don't have to pay taxes. But that's not something real for our people. And so what if you can't pay taxes? Oh, this is what happens if you keep the tax money. This is how much tax they're taking from you. Negro guy, you think you know something? Accountant guy. This is how much tax they're raping you for. Have their hand all up your skirt, and you're just sitting there letting them do it. And you know he's 80. Also, there's a lot of talk about reparations lately. But know this, if all Americans were the copper-colored natives who were in the Americas when the Europeans came here, if all Americans were able to keep the money withheld from their paychecks every year, that money will enable them to homeschool, enable them to start their own business, and enable them to boost the economy, enable them to save for college and retirement, even buy 40 acres and a mule. See why they threw her under the jail? You need to understand that with an Internal Revenue Code, Code of Federal Regulations, and other quote-unquote official documents spouting off several different definitions of United States Internal Revenue Service and other important terms, this deception, psychological warfare, that keeps people ignorant is not a coincidence. The writers of the code use semantics and legalese to make us think that we are required to pay income tax and file an income tax return. Former IRS Commissioner Shirley Peterson even stated that, and I quote, 8 decades of amendments to the code have produced a virtually impenetrable maze. The rules are unintelligible to most citizens. The rules are equally mysterious to many government employees who are charged with administering and enforcing the law. End quote. This fraud was strung together by people like the former president that said it depends on what your definition of is, and it depends on what your definition of sex is. This incident shows us that definitions are very important to politicians and lawyers, and no word is meaningless. For example, it does depend on what the definition of source is. The opposition, in an attempt to keep the sheeple in the flock, will scoff at us and encourage unaware Americans to ridicule those of us who have been informed, saying these people just don't want to pay their fair share. We have already learned from a speech by former Federal Reserve Chairman Beardsley Rumel that this country doesn't need income taxes for revenue. This money collected from our sweat and tears is used to perpetuate redistribution of wealth, among other things. But the powers that keep beating the people over the head with this fair share garbage, well, what is fair share? Haven't the families of the victims in New York and the Pentagon paid their fair share? Haven't the men and women that lost sons and daughters, husbands and wives in Vietnam, Korea, and other battles paid their fair share? So you see, This tactic is to pit those that are uninformed of the income tax fraud against those who have seen the light is baseless and must be eliminated. The opposition also uses our religious faith to twist the meaning of authority and to create unjust statuses or unjust statutes. People, I know godly authority, and our current system does not reflect godly authority. Many of our past and present religious leaders have been jailed for questioning authority. They have been beaten, starved, and even killed for their faith and their defiance of injustice. People of America, is what you're living for worth dying for? Are you willing to take a stand? It's your choice. The creators of this creature called the income tax engineered their system to manipulate you into staying in your comfort zones. With a little bit of patriotism and a little bit of fear tactic mixed in the pot of inflation and deflation, they have been able to keep the people confused, intimidated, and obedient for over 88 years. But now the truth about the fraudulent origin and the operations of the Federal Reserve System and the Internal Revenue Service has been revealed to the American people. You can no longer claim ignorance of the truth. You can no longer claim ignorance of the truth. You can no longer claim ignorance of the truth. You must acknowledge it or reject it. The choice is yours, and the consequences of your decision will rest on the shoulders of your children and future generations of Americans. You can remain an informed slave, or you can get off the plantation. You can remain engrossed in fear, or you can take a stand like Patrick Henry, who shouted, "Give me liberty or give me death." You can stay hypnotized by As the World Turns and The Guiding Light, or you can turn off the boob tube and read the Constitution. Then go get your elected representatives and ask why they refuse to follow it. Remember that those elected representatives have sworn to uphold and defend our Constitution. Remember that each of our elected representatives has pledged to serve our country first, not a political party or certain privileged and special interest groups by you, the American people. They are our public servants. In closing, we have shown you the truth. Now, for the sake of our country and our children, we ask you to choose justice over injustice, unity over division, courage over fear, truth over ignorance, and liberty over economic slavery. We ask you to stand with us and let the voice of freedom be heard from every corner of our great country. It is time to end this long-standing injustice and tyranny over the American people. Thank you. Sherry Peel Jackson, CPA. Note, these comments were presented at the close of the Citizens Truth in Taxation hearing, Washington, D.C., February 27th, 28, 2002. Now that's an accountant. That's how accountants supposed to talk. That's how IRS agents supposed to talk. And it was all laid down. Everything was laid down to prove it to you. What are you going to do, people? It's you, the people. It's you, the people. We've already taken the step. We're Moors. We're not Negro, black, colored people. We're not niggers. We're not slaves on some slave ship. I don't know what people thought taught you about what Moors are, but whatever they've been telling you about sovereign citizens and all that stuff, you better not listen to them people. You better not listen to them. You better not listen to them. They got plans that aren't in your favor. So these agents pop up trying to convince you something about Moors when they're not Moors. Know that they're agents and traitors. Because how could they know? How could they know what it is? How could they know what this is about if they're not part of this? How you know our plays and you don't have our playbook? I'm seeking to sue my tax preparer in small claims court for denationalization and dehumanization. Well, there's two sides you got to look at it as. One side, you got to look at it as, who are the tax people talking to? That's the first thing. Who are they talking to? When they sent a letter saying whatever, that, you're denationalized and whatever, most times they reach out to you. Because otherwise, we don't need to talk to them. We ain't calling them for anything. So most times, they reach out to you. Now, when they reached out to you, what name were they talking to? Now, if they were talking to a straw, and you already know you used to contract as the straw, you already know you used to contract as the straw. And they're trying to pull something, and you know about your nationality and birthrights now, you're not going to not deal with it. Your response is going to be like what Sherry Jackson said. Since you're the tax guy, here's my response. And then their response is either going to be no response, and the stuff disappears and you never hear from them ever again, or they're going to respond back to you either as a power of attorney of the whatever, or trying to find out who are you and why are you responding to stuff for the straw man that we're talking about. And then if it gets to the point where they railroad you, and then now you're looking for some type of whatever from them, they're going to waste your time. Because they don't got nothing to give you. They're a fraud. They're a fraud. What you want to do is go to the tax section on rvbaypublications.com. Go look up Sherry Jackson. Go look up Sherry Jackson addressing the jury, closing comments, with the IRS agent telling them that they're a fraud. And then after you study, you make them a response on your position, and then you CC 50 people who are important to tax guys. And then you go about your business. They're either going to respond to you or they're not going to respond to you. But trying to look like you're getting something from them, they don't got nothing to give you. They're bankrupt. They're insolvent. I'm going to sue the bum. I'm going to sue the bum because you stepped on my new J's. I'm going to sue the bum. I'm going to take the bum to small claims court. Waste of time. Waste of time. And waste of finance, because you're going to have to pay. So don't take it personal. Ignorance is no excuse. So know that, we're a dumb nigger. We're just doing contracts, signing stuff, not reading anything or whatever like that. Okay, for moving forward, we're not playing that stuff anymore. Everything's going to be analyzed when it's presented. Nothing's going to be just taken, name on it, rip the thing open or whatever. No. Who is this from? Is there a return address? Do I even know these people? Why does it even have this name on it? That's not my name. Who they talking to? No. Right? So the whole point is what we were saying with the definition of nationalize. Make distinctively national. Give a national character. So if you're a national, your response to anybody, even if it's a Moor that sends you something in the mail, if you're not expecting it, you're questioning stuff. You know, obviously if it's a name you know, open it, it's yours. But anybody who sends you anything and they're making demands, any type of demands, I don't care, financial demands or information demands, whatever demands they're making, you better check those people. Like, who are you? Because I'm a national. I'm not Negro. You might have thought you were sending some stuff to some Negro because this address is a hood address. But I'm not Negro. I'm not the dumb nigger you're going to play your little game with. And then you're moving like that, moving forward. You know what I mean? So don't tell me about, yeah, I got stopped by the police and they found whatever that said the straw name on it. Why are they even finding stuff with the straw name on it? If you're not that, why are they finding stuff with that on it? And if they are finding stuff with that on it, it should have all rights reserved on anything that was signed with that fake name that's not you anymore, because you nationalize. You're not Negro, black, colored anymore. You're not a ward. So if you're not a ward, there should be no ward interactions. There should be no slave master slave relationship if you're not in that jurisdiction. Right? And we get it. Some stuff is past stuff that you're dealing with. But this is where it comes into if people were studying from the right source. Because if they were studying from the right source, they would know that the straw man isn't authorized representative, is actually ex-relation. And an ex-relation is, all I have is information with regard to this thing. So ILB, ex-relation, whatever name you're talking to. Because I have nothing to do with anything. I'm not power of attorney or none of that fiction stuff. I'm a national. And anything that I'm dealing with has to be national. If it's not national, then I'm using that with a stick. My hands aren't touching it. You move it over there, put it on the stick, move it over there. Because it's a creature, just like IRS is a creature. It's a created entity, it's a Frankenstein. Right? A straw man. Right? What's straw man for? Chase birds. How are you that? How are you in the cornfield on the thing, the birds are on you and you're not thinking something's wrong here? Let me just get off this stick. Let me get off this stick and go in the house. I'm not a straw man. Because once you're a national, you have standards. You have character. It's not you. And Joel, you said, all old stuff, leave it as it is. All new stuff, do it in your free name. No, you want to go back and try to fix something, change something to the Moorish name from 10 years ago. Why? That's not you. But it comes down to study. Not some guy has a 500 for some class you're going to go to and learn something about your rights. It's not going to be like that. It better not be like that. You tell me you're going to some class, some Moors are doing some class, you paid your 500 and you're going through the information now because the class is 6 months and all that. And then every week you're waiting for this 1 hour with these people to go talk about some BS. Other than that, you're not. No. You better go start studying this. Because what they're teaching, guarantee, is what's not going to save you. Guarantee. Guarantee. There's no savior. You're going to save yourself. And you're going to save yourself with knowledge, not some paper or some card. You did some class. Or some guy has a travel document and there's a tassel on it and it's blue and red, and then people got on the plane with it. You still have to study. Well, because you have that. What does that mean? You just be a dumb nigger with a nationality card that's Moorish? So you're going to be somebody that says, yeah, I got Moorish identification, but you still call people black and all that? And you're still eating pork? You're eating chitterlings and all that stuff? Talking about you're a Moor? You're more eating the chitterlings. What are you talking about? Well, I got my card right here. It says that I'm a Moor. Oh, you're one of those ones. All right. We know which ones you are. We know your kind. You know your kind. Chitterlings, Moors. The baby back ribs, Moors. You didn't even get to the part where you said, just if you're gonna eat anything, it's fish. And if I'm gonna eat pork, it's because there's nothing else and I'm hungry. And that's never the case. It's never the case where, yeah, we'll just get pepperoni pizza today. It's nothing to eat. No. No way. No way. So this is birthrights. This is you going back to the mindset of your ancient foremothers and forefathers, and a card and papers can't give you that. Not that you shouldn't have cards and papers, because there's Moors who we talked to who they said, sign papers. I studied those papers for 3 years before I put my name to those papers. I went through those papers with a fine-tooth comb. Why do you do that? Well, if those are my papers, then I better know what the paper's saying. If I get questioned on this paper, I better be able to answer something. I better not think, oh yeah, just show this, and that means you're off the hook because you showed it. That's like the Moor who had the warrant and it was in the straw. And they went to the straw's house. And the Moor answered. And the guy with the warrant asked the Moor at the door, okay, let me ask you a question. Where do you live? Northwest or Mexham? And then he just heard feet just going the other direction. Walking, just heard footsteps leaving the door, and then never heard from them ever again after that. And he had a real warrant, like he had a warrant, like we're kicking the door in, or you're coming out. You tell him, that's not me, that's a straw man. I told you guys, if you're gonna issue a warrant, put it in the name. I'll go with you. I'm not saying I'm not guilty. I'm guilty, but the warrant has to say the name that I'm telling you. It's not going to be straw name. Where you live? Northwest or Maxim? Nothing. Because that's how they get jurisdiction. But if you say you live in the state of the city of whatever, they got you because that's their jurisdiction. They just got you. Now, where you at? Hotlanta. Oh, yeah, we got you. Wrap them up. You're done for. That's why we tell people, Canaanland. Don't be talking about more than Canada and all that stuff, because you're getting yourself in trouble. Because we don't say Canada. You know what that is. Ever since we nationalized, ever since we distinctively became national and gave a national character to, we gave a national character to this jurisdiction by calling it Canaanland instead of saying Canada. Same thing Chavez did. Then he kicked U.S. out and all that stuff. Nationalized. And the people were poor, but they were happy. They weren't dealing with these people raping their children and stuff like that anymore. And anybody who tried any raping stuff would cut your head off. Then Philippines head man talking about, if you sell drugs, we're killing you. You're a drug dealer? We're coming for you. Like we're actually coming for you. So get ready, because we're coming to get you. Kill them all. Anybody going against the national standards. Germany, same thing. Like Sherry Jackson said, they give you the smoke and mirrors and you get lost. Because you weren't expecting the smoke and mirrors. You thought smoke and mirrors is what it is. No, it is not. That's smoke and mirrors. Somebody's playing you. And when you go check, it's your own. When you go check, do you remember Judas and the Black Messiah? Don't let them tell you, they weren't told. It was their own. Their own. So be mindful. Be mindful. You say you play Moors and all that stuff. I found out about the Moors and oh my gosh, this is amazing. But this is no joke. It's not joining some black stuff. I'll tell you that. It's not joining some Rastafari thing or some Nuwapian thing. That's not what this is. This is a whole different realm. Whole different realm. That most aren't ready for. They fold before they do 5 years and 10 years in this. But there's the countdown. Honors to all the Moors. Honors to the mother, Sherry Peel Jackson, for speaking the truth. Honors to all the mothers out there worldwide. Peace and love to all the Moors. Happy Holy Day. And it's still early. You might see us again later. Islam Moors.